when it comes to particularly the sort of prophetic stuff that never came about. You know, now we're over 12 months later, and none of the things any of them said happened. And where are they now? Well, God is fed up and angry. They're there because actually they're fed up and angry because none of the things actually, they're projecting onto God what they're feeling because they're not seeing what they believe God told them happened. So, and they're now just probably recycling all that. And those that really are just prophesying out of their own understanding are probably trying to, this year is this is going to happen, or that's going to happen, or whatever is going to happen, to bring it back to what they thought should have happened last year, you know, and it didn't happen. You know, you just hope gullible people who believed all that are now going to realize I shouldn't be listening to such nonsense. I can go and listen to God for myself, and he's not angry and he's not fed up. He loves me, you know. And I think that's because again, that system will be shaken and people will become aware these guys are just talking rubbish. You know, how many times are they going to say that California is going to fall into the sea with a great earthquake, and it hadn't happened, and it hadn't happened, and it hadn't happened? They keep saying it. You know, they keep saying these things. They don't happen, but they're not accountable for what they're saying. And I think last year showed how unaccountable most of those prophetic voices were when it comes to owning that what they said was going to happen, and they were guaranteeing it was going to happen. It was going to happen this date, or oh no, this date, now this date, and now this date, and it never happened at all. How many of them have come out and apologized? The only one I know about, well, two, that have any hint of apology was Jeremiah Johnson, and he got absolutely vilified by the prophetic movement. So much so, I think he was totally disillusioned with it. And Chris Valatron also said some things, you know, from his perspective. Most of the others, you know, I don't listen to them at all, so I have no idea what they are saying because I'm just not interested in that, because I believe the whole prophetic movement by and large is politicized, and they are trusting in political answers to spiritual problems, and it's just nonsense. But they're now still prophesying probably what they're feeling on the inside. And therefore, if God is fed up and angry, it does validate them being fed up and angry. You know, there's often a mixture in what is said, that God is sort of inspiring them to say something, but they filter it through their own understanding, and what they say is not actually what God really said. What did God mean? Yeah, and that's what you got to go and ask. Well, the best person to ask is not the person who said it. You know, prophets interpreting their own prophecy is quite dangerous, because they will interpret out of their own beliefs and wants and understanding. That's why the Bible said there should be the prophets weigh the prophets. Need more than one person to look at this and say, what's God saying? And the best thing, obviously, is to go back to God and ask, you know, which is what I did, you know, and that's what we can all do, because we can access the realms of heaven. And we can go and say, what does this really mean? How much of this was actually you? And what did it really mean? We've got to be so careful we just don't hear what someone says and take it as verbatim, the exact words from God. Now, I share, obviously, what God has said to me. And for me, you know, that is directly God speaking. But I would not encourage anyone else to just accept that. They need to make sure that they hear what God's saying to them, you know. And actually, if they do think what I heard was God, then to go back to God and say, how does this apply to me? Not just listen to it, accept it, which is why I think God said to me in September not to do a Vision Destiny series for the coming year, not to do it, because people can, you know, people should be writing their own. Everyone should be hearing God for their own life and how that relates to what they're involved in. And they should be sharing it with others so that we have lots and lots of people sharing what God is saying, so we can get a understanding overall, lots of different things. But, you know, people, it's a danger. People then become relying on someone else. Well, I'm not going to become a mediator. So God said, don't do it. So I stopped doing it.